have a weekend away or you're treating yourself on holiday or something, if you do splash out a bit, I think you sort of... Your expectation is that you're going to enjoy it. So whether it tastes better or not, I don't know. But I do like to treat myself a little bit now and then.
I don't think it makes the slightest bit of difference, actually. Not that I can ever taste the difference, because I've usually had so much. But the problem is, with restaurants and hotels, they do have a huge markup on wine. So, you know, a wine that you might pay £30 for in a restaurant, you would get in the offie for, like, £8 or something. So it doesn't make any sense to buy expensive wine in restaurants, which, you know, is probably not doing restaurants a very big favour. But I honestly think... I've got a friend who's quite rich, and he always orders really ridiculously expensive wine.
Like how expensive?
No, I mean, ridiculous.
Like...
I can't say because it's obscene. I mean, you know...
Oh, go on.
More than... Well, at one time he ordered a bottle of wine and it was more than... It was 4 numbers, 4 figures. Yeah! It was nice, but I was like, I felt like I had to say it was nicer than it was. I was like, oh, it's lovely. I was thinking, is this the right one? It doesn't just taste like wine. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it was really, really nice, but not.
But how much was it? Like £21.50?
Even you're shocked at that, aren't you? And you like a fine wine.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all a bit of a myth. I think it's whatever you like taste-wise. I mean, there's some very...
Whatever suits your palate.
That's right, darling. And if you like Live from Milch Love, you have it.
Absolutely.
But, you see, I can't stand Chardonnay, and that's quite an expensive... You can get some very expensive Chardonnays, but you can also get some really good supermarket, I think, stuff, you know, for under a £5. So it depends what is...
Do you not think as well, though, there is a bit of a snobbery with wine anyway? It's a bit like art, isn't it? You just get people going... I was out with somebody sometimes and they took the wine and they went, oh, but just taste the oakiness. I'm sucking a tree, now get the
I don't get the spitting out either. No. I mean, why would you do that?
Well, that bit as well, that bit.
Exactly.
You think, don't smell it, drink it.
You know, as long as you can... I like the red wine that you can kind of see through. You know, the one that looks like Ribena.
Oh, I love that.
Out to the light, and if you can see through it, it's all right. I like that. It's nice. Cheap, well, yeah, but see, I have to have that. Not rosé exactly, but like quite weak red wine. Because if I drink that heavy stuff, like the 14%, I can only have 2 glasses, and that's me finished for the night. So I go for the kind of weak red wine now. But I don't
like
the money. I couldn't care less. I wouldn't order expensive wine in restaurants ever.
Wouldn't you?
No.
All right then. How do you fancy winning £3,000 in today's competition?
Only if you were paying.
To be with a shout. On our screens is the wonderfully villainous Rosemary King in Emmerdale, but since the sad demise of her character, who, in case you hadn't heard, shot herself at Christmas, the actress hasn't had time to mourn her departure. This month, she's set to join the national touring cast of the controversial West End play Equus, which broke box office records and showed the world Harry Potter had finally grown up. Here to tell us more, please welcome Linda Thorson. So are you a wine connoisseur? Do you like to treat yourself? Do you think the price makes a difference?
I'm a great lover of wine. I mean, I've been listening to everything that you've been saying. I sort of agree with you. I mean, in a restaurant, if it's a good restaurant, I always get the house wine. Because the guy who runs a good restaurant, or a woman, they're not going to let it be a bad wine. So I always think that's the right thing to go for.
Right.
You know, a lot of white wine to me tastes like nothing. So it's got to be, like, I think there's sort of the ones that look like horse urine I tend to like, you know, they're sort of like a big buttery Chardonnay, but that sort of went over the top in the 90s. And then a Shiraz. So I like a red wine you cannot see through.
Yeah, Shiraz is very hefty,
big one, but that can give you a bit of a...
It's nice.
And it's got what they call legs, you know, you go like that and it all drips down like that. And that's supposed to be really... Legless.
Is there anything you do treat yourself on that you...
I like good champagne, but actually the supermarkets, I mean, Tesco's got a bloody good champagne. And Marks and Spencer's has got a lovely rosé champagne. And so sometimes, you know, they've really worked on it because it's part of their reputation.
I like Asti.
And do you?
She really
does.
I do. I like all the really cheap stuff.
It doesn't give you a headache because they're a bit you know, sugary, aren't
Well,
they?
it does give me a headache, but it's a nice headache.
It's worth it.
Now, listen, so you were at last on our screens in Emmerdale.
Yes.
And you didn't die on the screen, did you? You weren't killed off on screen. You just departed.
Well, I did. It seemed I was extremely unhappy because eventually I killed myself, but I didn't even know I was unhappy. So, I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, there I was, and then I wasn't. So, go figure.
But you didn't like the character you were playing, did
Well,
you?
I
really?
loved Rosemary.
To
I
start.
adored her, but I had problems with what she was doing to Perdita. I didn't think that made any sense. I didn't understand why
This is
you
her
would
daughter-in-law she was
injure the
poisoning.
daughter-in-law who's you know, married to this son she loves so much, and both of us know he's bisexual, and we sort of deal with that. And she couldn't have children anymore because she had a hysterectomy. So what was Rosemary's problem? And I just thought a 7 o'clock show where you're mixing antidepressants with, you know, malaria pills, and you're doing something so evil for no good reason, you know. I mean, at one point I had to write a suicide note from her and show it to Grayson, my son, and say, oh, look what she's written. Well, now, he's been married to her for 7 years, and I'm his mother. So what am I, a professional forger that nobody knew about? I mean, I didn't get it. And once I didn't understand what I was doing, it was no good.
Yeah, it's hard to have any sort of
So it
enthusiasm.
was fine. It was lovely. Great job.
I
18
can't
months.
believe they dug you up and put you back of a dustbin.
And I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think these producers definitely wanted to make sure that Rosemary was never coming back. And by God, I'm not.
Would you not like to have gone back and, like, I don't know, killed yourself on screen, like done a bit of overacting, dying and all that? Wouldn't you have liked to have done that?
Yes, I'd love to have, but I don't think I'm going to get the chance.
Not now, no.
Well, maybe Echo Beach or something.
Now, this new play, Equus, this is, you know, this is no light-hearted play, is it? Give us a sort of a brief synopsis of the play itself and your part in it.
Well, I can just tell you that I saw the play in 1973 at the National Theatre, and it's the play that I have never been able to forget more than anything in the world. And it really does something for everybody. It is about a boy who does a dreadful, dreadful thing. But it's about, you know, his parents, it's about religion, it's about psychiatry. It's very much nowadays, of course, we've discovered that a lot of the young people in America were being given Ritalin and things for attention disorder, which in fact, and depression, which in fact made them commit suicide. So there's a very new look at how things are treated. The play actually just asks the question, what is normal? And how do you take away the violent side of a person, but keep their passion? You know, in other words, if you bring everyone down to middle C on the piano and there are no high notes or low notes, you take away everything. I mean, every person I know in show business, creative people, they're all a bit barking. You know, I mean, there it is. When you take that away, you know, then what have you got? So you don't want to destroy the creativity, but you do. I mean, he does become violent, and the play is about how to treat him.
And the new
I'm
version
a
sort of-
magistrate, and my bench want to send him to prison for life.
Right.
And I take him to a psychiatrist because I know that he did it because there were mental problems.
And the new version sort of came back to people's attention because Daniel Radcliffe, the young lad who plays Harry Potter,
Absolutely,
was
yes.
in,
And now
in
we
the
have
play.
Alfie Allen,
Right.
who is equally or more exciting. I don't think the comparisons are odoriferous. So I think that it is a play that young people should see. And in fact, we are doing tickets for £10 for any seat, for any performance for people under 26, all the way across the country,
That's
everywhere
fantastic.
we go. So
Where
this
and
is,
when do you start?
We open in Chichester for
Right.
2 weeks, and then we go up to Glasgow, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Eastbourne, Bath, Richmond.
So it's Chichester at the end of this month.
Yes,
that you
Chichester. We
start.
open the first week of February.
We're talking with young people. We were talking earlier about loved-up couples.
Yes.
Are you a person who has public displays of affection with your husband? Is it something that you find irritating in others?
I just think, don't you have a home? You know, I'm not...
Get a room.
Crazy. Get a room.
Get a room, yeah.
I'm not crazy about it. I like to see people holding hands. I love to see men being affectionate with their children in the park and throwing them up and down.
Hopefully catching them.
Yes. But I don't quite see the point of it. What I love is, you know, when you go in a restaurant, and of course the opposite is two people who sit and have dinner and they don't speak.
Yeah.
And I get so upset because I think, oh God, is that their life? Yeah. But people who look at a certain way across each other at a table, you know, young people or older, you can just see it, or a hand goes over, you know, between courses, and it's just a little, and they might be in their 60s or 70s.
His chips.
And it's, sorry, she's sorry. You're terrible. She's trying to get his wine because her glass is empty.
Listen, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck.
Thank you.
With the
Please
new
come
show.
and see
Thank
it
you
all.
so much. Linda Thorson, everybody.